Let me tell you another thing. I'm almost through. Don't quit when you're temporarily unfruitful or you don't have no joy. Don't quit when you can't feel the presence of God and you don't have any joy. The disciples are in a period now where they're unfruitful. Preaching has stopped. Souls are not being saved. Now, here are guys who just an hour ago were walking down the street and people were getting healed. And now they sitting in a jail cell somewhere. Sometimes you all, and this is the most difficult part of life. To me, it is the most difficult part of ministry. It's the most difficult part about singing on the praise team or in the choir. It's the most difficult thing about coming to church. How do you function when your joy is gone? How do you preach and you ain't got no joy? How do you stand as a greeter and greet people and smile when your own joy is gone? How do you serve in your capacity as a praise singer when you don't have a song in your own heart? I'll tell you a truth. There are times when God allows the joy to be taken out of our lives so that we cannot function on feeling how we feel. We have to function on a fact. God is still God. God is still on the throne. God is still in charge. Whether I feel it or not, whether I feel good or not, whether I feel bad or not, this ain't about how I feel. I could grab this mic and I could start jumping for joy, and I could grab the mic and I could start singing, because I ain't singing about how I feel. I ain't singing about how well things are going in my own household. I'm singing about a king who's still on the throne. I'm singing about a king who is a doctor who's never lost a patient. They took the disciples and they threw them in jail. Verse 19, but the angel of the Lord by night opened the prison doors. And what did he do? He brought them out. Tell somebody he brought them out. Tell somebody else he brought them out. And I came to tell you today that the same God who brought them out is the same God who could bring you out. I know that you're in the midst of something. I know that there's somebody here, you got a prayer request up there. I know that there's somebody who's trapped in something and you're waiting on God to bring you out. I know that there's somebody here today that you got to get a word from God, because if you don't get it, you don't know what's going to happen. I came to tell you that God can bring you out. But the question is, for what? Why God? Why? I know there's somebody here today, you got a prayer request. You want God to deliver you. You want God to bring you out. Why? Because when God brought them out, he said, all right, now, go back to the temple and preach. He brought them out for ministry. Does God know that as soon as you are delivered, you're going to go back to serving him? Does God know that as soon as you are delivered, you're going to take that testimony and you're going to tell everybody on your block and you're going to tell everybody in your family what God has done for you? It could be that you have not been delivered yet because you have not said to the Lord, oh yeah, as a part of this prayer, as soon as you bring me out, as a matter of fact, I dare you before he brings you out. I dare you before you're delivered to make up in your mind. I dare you to just start telling people right now how good God is and how much God can do for you. God said, go back and preach and tell the wonderful words of life. And you keep on reading. In the 28th verse it says, these men who have filled Jerusalem with this doctrine. You see, they didn't quit. They kept on preaching. They didn't quit. They kept on preaching. They kept on preaching until in chapter 9, a guy by the name of Paul gets saved. And then Paul keeps on preaching until he takes the gospel to Macedonia. And then all of Macedonia opens up. And then eventually the gospel it gets to Rome. And then the prince or the emperor Constantine gets saved. And then when Constantine gets saved, he takes the gospel a little further. And then the gospel finally reached the shores of the United States of America. And when the gospel reaches the United States of America, your great-grandmama got saved. And because your great-grandmama got saved, your grandmama got saved. And because your grandmama got saved, your mother got saved. And because your mother got saved, you got saved. And because you got saved, you are here right now, lifting up your voice. You are here right now, giving glory to God, because the disciples did not quit. Shake somebody's hand and say, neighbor, I know you're going through a tough time, but whatever you do, don't quit. God will show up after a while. Don't give up on God, for he won't give up on you. Is there anybody here that know that God is able? Don't quit. Don't you leave your marriage. Don't you leave your job. Don't give up on your children. Don't give up on the situation that's bothering you. Whatever you do, don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Come on, everybody on your feet. I want to pray for you. I know your heart is heavy. I don't want you to quit. God is able to do just what he said he could do. He's going to fulfill every promise. You got to stay there long enough to see it. You got to stand there. And I got one more thing to tell you. He may not come when you want it. He may not come when you're expecting it. He may not come when you programmed him. But I guarantee you, is there anybody here that knows he will? He will. He will. He will show up on time. How many people are really going through something? I ain't talking about playing, going through. Really going through. Really going through. You need to hear God now. He's able. Let me pray for you.